Okay, so good morning to all of you. Last class, what did we discuss? We were discussing about the mortality and morbidity indicators. So, what is the full form of AMR? Anyone?
Adult mortality rate.
What about MMR?
Adult mortality rate.
Okay.
Maternal mortality rate.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, last class we are studying about vital signs, the 4 primary vital signs: temperature, pulse, respiratory range, and blood pressure.
Yes. Okay, that one we'll discuss in the evening time. Okay, after lunch. I think I have class at 3. So at that time we can discuss about PSM practicals. Okay, now I'll be taking your theory class, not practical. Okay, read out the morbidity indicators. Anyone can read out?
Incidence and prevalence. First, second, notification rate. Third, attendance rate at the outpatient department, health centers, etc. And fourth point, admission, readmission, and discharge rate. Next, duration of stay in the hospital. And last, spell of sickness or absence from work or school.
Okay. So now you write down the new topic. Okay, it is from the same unit, but you just write down the headline: environmental and industrial hazards. Environmental and industrial hazards. Environmental, ENVIRONMENTAL. Environmental and industrial hazards. INDUSTRIAL. Environmental and industrial hazards. So we'll be discussing this one by one. Okay. First one, number 1, you write environmental hazards. Number 1, environmental hazards. Write down. An environmental hazard is a substance, substance, state, substance, state, or an event, substance, a state, or an event, 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 which has the potential to POTENTIAL, which has the potential to threaten the surrounding, threaten, threaten the surrounding, 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 potential to threaten the surrounding. Natural environment or natural environment or adversely affect people's health, or adversely, ADVERSELY, or adversely affect people's health, or adversely affect people's health, comma, including including pollution, 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 and natural disasters, pollution and natural disasters. And natural disasters such as storms, storms, storms and earthquakes.
Ma'am, storms and other?
Wait. What? Which one? Which line?
Ma'am, storms and other.
Storms,
Ma'am, last line.
and earthquakes. EARTHQUAKES, storms and earthquakes. Full stop. Storms and earthquakes, full stop. Hazards, a paragraph change kora. Change the paragraph and write down. Hazards can be categorized in 4 types. Hazards can be categorized. CATGORIZED. Hazards can be categorized in 4 types. Can be categorized into 4 types. In 4 types. Number 1, chemical hazard. Number 2, physical hazard. Number 1 is chemical hazard. Number 2 is physical hazard. PHYSICAL, physical hazard. HAZARD, hazard. Number 3, biological hazard. Number 3 is biological hazard. BIOLOGICAL, biological hazard. And the last one, number 4. Number 4 is your psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial. PSYCHOLSOCIAL. Psychosocial. PSYCHOSOCIAL. Psychosocial hazard. HAZARD, hazard. Psychosocial hazard. Write down Tolot. Number 1, chemical hazard. So these are the 4 environmental hazards. Okay, chemical, physical, biological, and psychosocial. So we will discuss this one by one. Number 1, you write down chemical hazard. Chemical hazard. Put a dash and write down. Chemical hazards are defined in the defined DFINED, defined in the chemical hazards are defined in the globally, you write down G should be capital, okay? GLOBALLY, globally. GLOBALLY, globally. Harmonized, H capital, HARMONIZED, harmonized, globally harmonized system. SYSTEM, system, globally harmonized system. S should be capital. Chemical hazards are defined in the globally harmonized system, causing, CAUSING, causing acute, ACUTE, causing acute, ACUTE, causing acute or long-term health effects. Acute or long-term, LONG, long-term health effects. EFFECTS, long-term health effects. Causing acute or long-term health effects. Put a full stop. They are caused by chemical substances. They are caused by chemical substances. They are caused by chemical substances, causing significant damage to the environment. Causing significant damage to the environment. Causing significant damage to the environment. An example is zinc oxide. Is zinc oxide. ZINC, zinc oxide, OXID oxide. Underline kora. An example is zinc oxide, comma, a common COMMON, a common paint pigment, paint, 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 paint pigment, PIGMENT, paint pigment, comma, which is extremely toxic to aquatic life. Which is extremely toxic to, which is extremely toxic, TOXIC, which is extremely toxic to aquatic life, AQUATIC, aquatic life, LIFE, life. Full stop. Other examples include petroleum products, petroleum, PETROLEUM, petroleum products. Petroleum products mane tumar diesel, petrol, all this, okay? Petroleum products, comma, acids, 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 comma, glues, 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 etc., etc. Petroleum products, acids, glues, etc. Okay, full stop. So in chemical hazard, what do you see? That it causes health effects. Okay, both to flora and fauna. That means both to its. Okay, did you finish writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so chemical hazards, we see that it causes health effects both to flora and fauna. Okay, that means it is causing effect. Okay, severe or intense effects both for us as well as the environment that we live in. Okay, and it also causes severe damage to the environment. Okay, to the natural environment, especially to natural environment. And one example that I have given you is your zinc oxide. And this zinc oxide, it is present, it is found in paints. Okay, paints that we use to color our homes. Okay, so in that paint we find this zinc oxide, and this paint pigment, it is not harmful for us. Okay, it is not harmful for us, but it is harmful to the aquatic life. Okay, so what are the aquatic life? Do you know aquatic life? I guess you know aquatic life. Which includes the aquatic life?
Ma'am, then animal live under water?
Okay, it lives under the water. All the fishes, then even some mosquitoes and all. Okay, all this, whatever things that lives in water, it is harmful for them, for the aqua life. Okay, and some other examples includes acids, then petrol, diesel, glues, etc. So all these are chemical hazards. All this comes under a chemical hazard. Okay, it is, I just gave you in short. We don't need to describe much about all this. Okay, all these things I guess you already know. And I think you have got all this in your schools, in your school also. So it is not a new thing for you all. Next point you can write down. Number 2 is your physical hazard. Physical hazard. Physical hazard, put a dash and write. A physical hazard is a type of occupational hazard. A physical hazard is a type of occupational hazard. Occupational, O-C-U-P-A-T-I-O-N-L, occupational hazard. A physical hazard is a type of occupational hazard that can cause harm, H-A-R-M, that can cause harm with or without contact. That can cause harm with or without contact. That can cause harm with or without contact. C-O-N-T-A-C-T. There are many types of physical hazards. There are many types of physical hazards. There are many types of physical hazards. Full stop. Some of them are as follows. Some of them are as follows. Some of them are as follows. Can you give me some examples of physical hazard?
Accident, ma'am.
Hmm?
Accident in a construction site.
No, I don't think so. Others? Others, do you know examples? Okay, write down. Cosmic rays, C-O-S-M-I-C, cosmic rays, R-A-Y-S, cosmic rays, comma, earthquake, E-A-R-T-H-Q-U-A-K-E, earthquake, comma, floods, F-L-O-O-D-S, floods, flood, F-L-O-O-D, flood, comma, light pollution, L-I-G-H-T, light pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, comma, noise pollution, comma, okay, light pollution, noise pollution, comma, UV rays, ultraviolet rays, UV rays, comma, X-ray, etc. X-rays, etc. X-rays, etc. So
Ma'am,
all
earthquake or blood is na?
floods, Banbani, floods, F-L-O-O-D-S, floods, earthquake, comma, floods, light pollution, noise pollution, UV rays are.
মানে সেইবিলাক লিখিছো কেৱল ফ্লাডটো
Huh?
মানে সেইবিলাক লিখা হৈছে কেৱল ফ্লাডটোৱে
Oh, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
মানে বাকিবোৰ লিখিছো কেৱল
Okay, ঠিক আছে। UV rays, X-rays, etc. So all these are the examples of physical hazard. Okay. Number 3, you write down biological. Number 3 is your biological hazard. Number 3, you write biological hazards. Write down. Biological hazards are also known as biohazards. Biological hazards are also known as biohazards. Bio, B-I-O-H-A-Z-A-R-D-S. Biological hazards are also known as biohazards. Biohazards, refers to biological substances. Refers to biological substances. Refers to biological substances. Biological substances that pose a threat, that pose, P-O-S-E, that pose a threat to the health of living organisms. That pose a threat, T-H-R-E-A-T, threat to the health of living organisms, primarily that of humans. Primarily that of humans. Primarily that of humans, H-U-M-N-S. Primarily that of humans, full stop. This can include medical waste, or this can include medical waste, MEDICAL, medical waste. This can include medical waste. This can include medical waste, or samples of microorganism, or samples of microorganism, virus or toxin, samples of microorganisms, virus or toxin, TOXN, toxin, that can affect human health. That can affect human health. That can affect human health. Below, you just start with a bulletin below, put a dot, okay, and just write down allergies, ALLERGIES, allergies. Second point, you write down food poisoning, allergies. Then below you write down food poisoning. Then next is your malaria, MALARIA, malaria. Next point, you write pollen, 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 pollen. Open a bracket and write down for allergic people. For allergic people, ALLERGIC, allergic people, close the bracket. Pollen, in bracket you write for allergic people, close the bracket. Okay, so in biological hazards is also known as biohazards. Okay, and this can come in the form of medical waste. Okay, medical waste means all the way that comes out from the hospitals or nursing homes or wherever, okay, like human blood or any kind of blood products, okay, then all the pathological waste will come under this, then sharp instruments that are discarded, okay, then the waste, contaminated waste, body parts, whatever is there, whatever waste that is present in the medical setup, all those waste are known as medical waste, okay. And for those, there are color coded bins also, like waste bins are there, like yellow, green, red, black, all the beans are, beans means dustbin, okay, all the dustbins are present there in the hospital setup for throwing different types of instruments. Like for example, in red color dustbin, all the sharp instruments should be thrown in the red color dustbin, okay. Again, in the black color dustbin, all the like bottles, sharp instruments, okay, glass works, all these things are thrown in black color. And all the medicines, the expiry date medicines are also thrown in black color dustbin, okay. And again, in the yellow color, all the blood, body fluids, then blood, okay, body parts, whatever is there, all these things will be thrown in the yellow color dustbin. And in the red color dustbin, the syringes, then cannula, then IV setup, all these things are thrown in red color. So different color dustbins are present in all the hospitals or nursing homes, okay. All the healthcare setups have different color coded dustbins for throwing different kind of waste, human waste, okay. So all these things can also cause biological hazards, and also some, it can also cause allergy to human health, allergies to human health. Then it can also cause food poisoning, malaria is caused by mosquitoes, okay. The next is your pollen. What is pollen? Celesti Sangma, what is pollen? I guess you know what is pollen. Gibbon, what is pollen?
Powdery substance, ma'am.
Hmm?
Powdery substance that cause allergy.
Yes, and it is present in? Where do we get pollen?
Flowers, ma'am.
Yes, flowers. So some people are allergic to this pollen. Okay, whenever they smell flowers and then those pollen powder goes inside their nostrils, they feel irritation. Okay, they become red and then they feel allergy, irritation, itching. So some people are allergic to pollen. So this all comes under your biological hazard. Okay. Last one you write down, psychosocial hazard, number 4. Number 4 is your psychosocial hazard. Write down, psychosocial hazards include includes stress, 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 comma, violence, 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 and other workplace stressors, workplace stressors, STRESSORS, stressors. Psychosocial hazards include stress, violence, and other workplace stressors, 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 full stop. Work is generally beneficial. Work, WORK. Work is generally beneficial to mental health. Work is generally beneficial to mental health and personal well-being. Work is generally beneficial to mental health, MENTL, mental health and personal well-being. Mental health and personal well-being. WELLBING, well-being, full stop. It provides people with structure and purpose. It provides people with structure and purpose. STRUCTURE, structure and purpose, and a sense of identity. Structure and purpose and a sense of identity. IDENTITY, identity, full stop. It provides people with structure and a purpose of sense and identity. Full stop. So in psychosocial hazards includes stress. Okay, stress in the workplace. As students have different kinds of stress to get good marks, to get good grades. Okay, to pass out well, and after that you search work, you search for a good job, you want a better living, for a better livelihood. Okay, so different people have different kinds of stress. All those people who are already working, their work pressure is again different. Okay, to do their work on time, then they should complete the work properly. Okay, whatever is given, it should be done in a proper manner. So there are many kinds of stress that people undergo. Okay, for students it's different. For people who are already working, it's different for them. All those whoever are doing business, they have a different stress in their life. So stress, then violence, and other workplace stressors. Work is generally beneficial to mental health and personal well-being. Wherever you work, okay, wherever you work, if your workplace matters a lot. If you are able to work in a good environment, all your teammates are very much intrusive and you can connect with each other. Okay, you can communicate well, there is a proper understanding, then the workplace becomes very good. But if there is miscommunication, okay, if someone is working really hard and the other one is not doing his work properly, then also the sense of working becomes dull. Okay, so wherever you work, whatever you do, in whatever job you are, everyone has got some kind of stress in their personal life. So all these things always depends on the mental health of the person. Either it can lead to success and it can lead to success or failure. Many people, they are not able to work because of miscommunication, and because of which they leave their job very soon. Why? It is because of the workplace stressors that push them, okay, to leave the job. So all these things comes under your psychosocial hazards. Okay, it also provides people with structure and purpose and a sense of identity. So this is all about your environmental hazards. Okay, environmental hazards comes under 4 types, that is physical, chemical, physical, biological, and psychosocial. In chemical hazards, okay, it causes long-term health effects. Okay, and one of the example that I've given you is zinc oxide, and it is a paint pigment that is extremely toxic to aquatic life. And some other examples that I've given you is petroleum products, acids, glues, etc. Next is your physical hazard. In physical hazards, you come to know earthquakes, floods, light pollution, noise pollution. All this comes under your physical hazards. Okay, and it can cause harm with or without contact. Okay, next is your biological hazard. In biological hazards are also known as biohazards. Okay, and it can cause allergies, cholera, then food poisoning, malaria, pollen to different for allergic people. Next is psychosocial, where we see the workplace stressors, and it also causes mental health and personal well-being of the individual. And next is provide people with structure and purpose and a sense of identity. So all these things comes under your environmental hazards. In the next class, tomorrow, we will discuss about the industrial hazards. In industrial hazards also, we have got chemical hazard, physical hazard, and biological hazard. But we do not have psychosocial hazards in industrial hazard, okay, which we'll be discussing tomorrow. And in the evening, I'll take your PSM practicals, okay. Okay, then you all can leave the class now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hmm.